and Boots and his team had to know that. So Sergio, the facts are he was offered a boatload of money to fight Vergil Ortiz, and he is choosing not to. I know we don't like to use the word duck that often here on the show, but this feels like a pretty big duck for Boots Ennis. None of it makes any sense, right? Like, we know that Boots wants to unify at 147. I don't know where, Boots Ennis goes from here. Even Eddie Hearn said, like, he's now no longer going to fight in February if he doesn't fight Vergil. He's going to have to be pushed to April, and I guess it could even be into May. That doesn't make any sense. That makes it. It just makes.
So what does that make it? Say the word, Chris Maddox. Say it.
I did. I said it looks like a duck.
No, not looks like it. Did it quack like a duck? It
You
looks
just
like
said
a
full
duck.
gras.
Did it walk like a duck? Say the word, Mannix.
I just did.
Hey, yo, let me first start off by saying I love my job. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why I said that. It is looking bad for Jaron Boots Ennis, and I'm here to talk about it. Y'all said I didn't know what I was talking about, but the kid is back with a vengeance. And I'm gonna break down my thoughts. Stay tuned to the end of the video and let you know, like always, exactly why it's looking bad for Mr. Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, I love videos like this because it gives me the fine opportunity to gloat, where I get to say, I told you so. Mr. I told you so is back. And let's jump right into it. DAZN is taking digs at Jaron Boots Ennis. What do I mean? You will see it on the screen. You heard it at the beginning. DAZN commentators have now put out a video. So Chris Mannix, Sergio Mora, they got a podcast. They both work with DAZN Boxing. And as they're breaking down the surrounding situation with Jaron Boots Ennis and Vergil Ortiz, throughout the episode, I mean, I didn't watch the whole episode. I just watched this particular segment. And throughout this segment, they're calling Jaron Ennis a duck. They're like, hey, man, I hate I had to come to this, but Jaron Ennis, he ducked him. There's no nice way to put it. And there was even a moment where Sergio Mora was telling his co-host, Chris Mannix, he was like, just say it, quack, quack, just say it. So basically, you got DAZN joking all in the video, and they're like, he's baiting his co-host to call Jaron Ennis a duck. And, they're bigging up Vergil Ortiz, saying, oh, he's a great fighter. And the title of the video, it says, quote, "It is a bad look for Boots. Mannix and Mora debate Boots Ennis, Vergil Ortiz, blah, blah, blah." Now, I know maybe if you're new to the channel or if you're a hater, some people are, they're wondering, they're like, hey, Ego, why'd you say I told you so? What does this have to do with you? Remember, on my channel, and if you remember what I'm about to say, simply put I remember in the comment section to vouch for me. I don't ask for credit for things that I didn't do, but if I said it, I meant it, and we're gonna revisit it when that time comes. Now is one of those times. So if you remember, just simply put I remember. Who remembers Boxing Ego, aka Ego, the day Eddie Hearn and Jaron Boots Ennis partnership was announced, where Boots left his current situation, which at the time was pretty much working with Steven Espinoza and Showtime, and he moved over and signed a partnership with Eddie Hearn and DAZN. Who remembers Boxing Ego that day going on live, making my content, reacting to the news, and I told you I have major concerns about Jaron Ennis moving over to the DAZN side of things. Listen, DAZN, Top Rank, whoever, PBC, they could be right for certain fighters. It just depends on each individual. But specifically, Jaron Ennis, I had questions about that partnership. Now you see why I have questions about that partnership, because the first time that anything like this has ever even come up in Jaron Ennis, his whole career, they're calling him a duck. They're kind of turning their back on him. And beyond that, I questioned what fights would Eddie Hearn be able to get, and this is probably more important, like the Duck stuff is what the Duck stuff is. You know, if he made the move, it is a bad look. So I'm not even opposed to that. But just the fact that the company is clowning you and calling you out for it, that's an L. Because on the contrary, Steven Espinoza was at the Tank and Lamont Roach press conference in New York, and he was quoted as saying that he doesn't fault Jaron Ennis for the Vergil Ortiz fight fallout. This is a guy who's not even working with Boots at this point. They used to work with Boots, but he has enough like respect, or he's going to give him the benefit of the doubt, right or wrong. Steven Espinoza defended Boots Ennis and said, no, I know him. He's willing to fight anybody, da, 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 da. I don't really fault him for the fight not manifesting. So a guy, let's unpack what I just said. You got a guy who used to work with Boots that doesn't currently manage or have anything to do with Boots' current career, as he's on DAZN with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and he's vouching and trying to save Boots, or, you know, put him in a good light and say, hey, you know, it's part of the business. I don't really fault him because the fight didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. And then you got DAZN commentators, Boots' own current network, and they like, yeah, you a duck, you duck, da, 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 da. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And you guys said, oh, Eddie Hearn, he'll keep him active. Yeah, how's that working? In addition, let's keep going. On this very telecast, or the podcast, the host, Chris Mannix, said that he has word and sources that Conor Benn has sent an offer to fight Mario Barrios, which I've already reported on my channel. And that could be a fight in the UK, because I guess Conor Benn got his license again, or maybe he can get his license again in the UK. And the DAZN reporter is saying that would be a good fight and a big fight for Mario Barrios. The other name linked to Barrios is Pacquiao. He says he doesn't think the Pacquiao fight will manifest. So what does that mean? You got a guy in Conor Benn, which I've already made content surrounding this, who failed a PED test. He's a UK fighter, son of a legend, and he works with Eddie Hearn. He's been with Eddie Hearn longer than Boots Ennis. Why would he take priority and get a Mario Barrios championship fight before Boots Ennis does? And meanwhile, Boots is like, the whole fight with Vergil Ortiz fell apart over the 154 bit, knowing Vergil Ortiz can't make 147. I've already went over that, so I'm not even gonna, it's just dumb. You know Vergil Ortiz can't safely arrive at that weight. So that was just a waste of everybody's time. But you choose to stay at 147, which is your choice. You know, you can't, someone can't force you to move up if you're not ready. But to waste people's time and for it to play out like this, it's not a good look. But beyond that, what are you staying at 47 for when your first two fights in Philly with Eddie Hearn were fights like David Avocado, which was a replacement fight to Cody Crowley, and then you fight Karen DAZN, and you had previously fought him on Gervonta Davis's undercard, and you look better in that fight with Karen DAZN, or whatever his name is. You look better in the first fight. So Eddie decided to make a main event of it because it was your mandatory, put you in Philly again, and then the crowd was leaving early, and it doesn't look like they were really that pleased with, you know, Boots was getting hit a lot and Karen came to fight. I told you, I said Eddie Hearn, you know, he's good at certain things, and when it comes to America, he's never made an American star. And to be honest, this is not American star treatment. Like, you look at when Boots was with PBC Cards, he wasn't signed to PBC, but when he was on Showtime and PBC Cards, he was like an urban legend. Everybody was praising, everybody was checking for him. And now that he's with Eddie Hearn, look, now he's at within 2 fights, he's in a stage of his career where people are calling him a duck. And it's like, where does he even go? Why are you staying at 47 when, I mean, Boots is partly to blame for this too. And I've already went over many aspects of this. So for the repeat listeners, I'll try to keep it pretty fresh or brief. But Boots, he was the one talking about moving up to 147 or 154 from 147 He was the one saying, I don't know if I could make weight. So he brought a lot of this on himself. But at the end of the day, this is the side you chose. You chose DAZN. You thought they could get stuff done for you. And I'm not seeing it. And now Boots is like a laughing stock. And then Vergil Ortiz is getting a major fight. And it just leaves people with a ton of questions. So to me, ever since he moved to Eddie Hearn, it hasn't been looking good. The performances, you're getting hit too much. People are now calling you a duck. Vergil Ortiz is on a massive card. They're saying it's a career high payday. It just all around doesn't look good. And then to boot, you got DAZN reporters saying he ducked and there's no other way to put it. But you guys said Jaron Ennis will be active with Eddie Hearn. Enjoy. I'm the best in the business and it's not even close.